Okay, hi everyone. I'm just gonna start off right away. I'm just waiting for my co-presenter, Anna Patterson. Oh, I see. She just joined us. Hi, Anna. Just turn on your microphone and then we're all set. Okay. So I'm gonna start right off welcoming everyone. Thanks for joining us. Um, and for your interest in some admission and application tips we're going to give you today. Just trying to write Anna a message that at least I can't hear her, but I think I'm going to just jump right into the presentation, which is short and will allow some time for questions afterwards. So today's topic is about the admission and application to our MBA and law programs. We'll give you some insights on how that works, and just quickly before I jump right in to the process, just a quick overview on the programs we offer. First off, the MBA programs, where you have a Global Executive MBA, which is a general management leadership program in cooperation with the University of Minnesota. This is a double degree MBA program. Then we have an executive MBA in Bucharest. That's also a general management leadership program based in Romania, in Bucharest. And then there is a range of professional MBA programs with some specializations, which are the following. We have for now 6 specializations in English, which you can see here on the slide, and some specializations in German as well. Welcome back, Anna. Then there is a range of Master of Laws programs which are offered both in German and in English. There's a brand new program kicking off this year in October, our LLM in digitalization and tax law. So if you're interested in that topic, feel free to look closer into the program on our website. I think it's an exciting topic to tackle. Couple of words about the admission criteria. So there are 2 things I'd like to differentiate here, which are first off the admission requirements, which are the hard facts you need to bring when applying for one of our MBA or law programs, which is at least an undergraduate degree, like a bachelor's degree or an equivalent degree. You need to have work experience, and depending on the program you choose, this can be either 3 years or 5 years of work experience. Obviously, proficiency in the language of the program you would like to apply for. So if that's an English program, that should be proficiency in English language. We do not ask for testing scores, since we have our own assessment for English proficiency. Can everyone hear me before I continue? Just maybe could you? Okay, so everyone can hear me. That's good. And then, of course, there is the personal admission interview, which is at the end of the application process. This is where we get to know our candidates. So that's the hard facts you need to bring. And then there is some, I would say, more soft criteria we look for in our candidates, which is, for instance, the ability to commit to such a demanding program. This is a huge investment in time you're making, so you need to really plan this wisely before starting. You need to bring some management skills and leadership skills for the executive MBA programs. And of course, we're looking for ambitious candidates which have a drive, which are willing to learn, but also to share their experience to their fellow students, and hence providing or contributing to the learning experience of their peers. So this is basically, in a nutshell, what we're looking for. When you look at the next slide, I just can't find my mouse here. There it is. Hold on a second. I'll be right there with the next slide. So there it is. Thanks, Anna. This is basically how the application process looks like. There are 4 major steps. And if you are into or onto the application, this can be done in roughly 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So it's a pretty straightforward and quick application process. It starts with the online application. So this is where you enter some data in our online application form. Once this is submitted, I'll tell you more about what needs to be submitted. Once this is submitted, it is checked by our program management on a formal basis, and should everything be in order, then you will be invited to the admission interview, and after that you have the decision. So it's a pretty straightforward process. Maybe Anna, you can click on the next slide for me. Thank you. So this is what we need you to type into our online application form. So first of all, there's some general information about you as a person, like where you come from, where you live, your contact details, and so on. Then we ask about your education and your educational background. We ask for, in the third step, for information about your career, your background, and your current position. And then afterwards, you need to confirm and submit some documents along with the confirmation. Next slide, please. Thank you. So these are the documents we need you to provide us when applying. You can find all of that on our application website, and also we'll be happy to share the presentation, but in any case, this is all also mentioned on the website. So we need a CV, we need a letter of recommendation, or 2 in that case. Obviously, we want to learn about your motivation, about why you want to do an MBA or a Master of Law program. Obviously, certificates, diploma. There is an application fee which you can pay with your credit card. And then for applications for scholarships, we need some additional information since they are need-based. We need, for instance, a proof of salary and any relevant documentation about your financial situation. So this, in a nutshell, is your application package we need you to provide us. Step 3, that's the admission interview. This is where we get to know you and you get to know us in person. Should we not have met prior to that during a consultation meeting. This is typically done with the academic director and the program management. The admission interview consists of a short assessment with a case study work, and then a discussion about your plans with the MBA. So this is where we ask some questions, but obviously also you can ask some questions to the academic director. And the let's say the goal for that meeting is that we make sure that there is a fit, that you think that we are, as a business school, a good fit for you, but also from our perspective, to find out whether you are a good fit for this particular MBA program. Next slide, please. Because my mouse has disappeared. So after the admission interview, there are basically 4 decisions which we are going to communicate with you. It's either you're admitted or you're waitlisted. The admission can also be denied, or we can agree that you are a future potential for let's say an upcoming class in the next years. Of course, any decision comes with a feedback. So we want to make sure that all of that is understandable for our candidates. Next slide, please. So after being admitted to the program, you should make sure that you reserve your spot or your seat in the MBA program. So there are some instructions we ask you to read, which we're going to send you after the admission. There's some paperwork which needs to be signed, like a confirmation letter and a payment schedule, which we agree on. And then afterwards, we ask you to pay the seat confirmation fee. That's the down payment, and that's 10% of the tuition fee. So that's basically what we ask you to do once we have accepted you to the program. Next slide, please. Some tips for the application. Make sure to set goals for yourself, to set milestones in terms of the recommendation letters, the motivation letter. There are some tasks we need you to fulfill. Then, of course, put aside distractions. That's essential when you, for instance, want to write on your motivation essay. So make sure that you're focused on what you're writing and what you are planning to submit. You can save the application sections, the ones I showed you previously, anytime, and you can re-enter the application form and edit them, for instance. So you can work on your application as you go along. And of course, our program managers are happy to support you and be on your side at any time. So feel free to drop them an email if you have any questions or problems. Next slide, please. Here we want to feature some of our colleagues. So this is Teresa. If you want to apply for the entrepreneurship, innovation, or the finance MBA, you will get to know her. One of the tips we want to give you is that you discuss your plans on doing the MBA with your family, with the employer. So all the stakeholders there should be involved, because they will feel that you are doing an MBA program for at least a couple of months. So, and also you need to provide a recommendation letter from your direct supervisor. So that's pretty obvious that you need to involve them in your plans. So that's one thing. And also, when you come to the admission interview, there's no need to be nervous, although it's a very special situation, we have to admit. So I can relate to that. On the other hand side, we want you to be authentic. We want you to be honest with us. We want a straightforward discussion. And if you feel so if there is anything which needs to be clarified, this is the place to discuss that. There are no questions during the interview such as in a test where answers can be wrong. So there is no need to let's say read a book and there is going to be a test on that, but it's more lively discussion. As I mentioned, the goal is here to make sure that there is a fit between you and the specific program you want to apply for. Some words about how an MBA or Master of Laws can really transform or be a part of a transformation journey. Things start to move when people do MBA programs. As you can see, in terms of new positions or new employers, so 3/4 of our alumni actually take on new steps or new career steps. They take on new positions. They get promoted. They work on new projects. They get more responsibility because their employers see that they are able to manage several huge projects, such as an MBA, next to or in addition to their busy jobs. So with that, you can really distinct yourself within the company and towards your supervisors. So as you see, at least half of the alumni take on additional responsibility. A lot of them also found their own companies, and there's obviously several salary increase involved when taking on new challenges in the company, like new huge projects, new leadership positions, and so on and so forth. There are some scholarships available. This is just a selection of the scholarships. There is more on our website, especially for the Executive MBA Bucharest and for our energy management program. So if you're interested in one of those two programs, make sure to check out the website. The scholarships in general are need-based. That's why we need to know about your financial situation. There are certain deadlines which need to be met. You can find, of course, all of them on the website as well. And there are partial scholarships which can cover a range of support towards your tuition fee. So they can go up to 25% of the tuition fee. And the decision on whether you receive a scholarship and how high the scholarship will be is made by the scholarship committee. Okay, quick and dirty. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box. Otherwise, Anna, any comments from your side? Still no sound. Okay, unfortunately. But if you have any, so talking to our audience, if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat room at any time. Okay, some people are typing already. So Patricia wants to know more about the Executive MBA, of course. So as I mentioned, this is a general management MBA program which is targeting executives and senior managers with leadership positions. So you need to have at least 5 years of work experience and to bring leadership experience to the program. Why is that so important? Because we discuss the topics very much from a leadership and strategic perspective, right? So this is basically the way how the experience exchange is made sure. And the program is 16 months long. It's highly international in terms of the curriculum and the international residency. So you have 3 residencies during these 16 months. So you have classes not only in Vienna, but we travel to China, namely Hong Kong, and then India. We travel to South America, and then there is an international residency in the United States, in Minnesota, at the Carson School of Management of the University of Minnesota, which is our partner school. In addition to that, our students don't really write a typical master thesis at the end of the paper, such as a paper, but they work on a global team project together with Executive MBA students from 2 different business schools. So again, here, a very international DNA in the program. It starts every year in April. So we have just kicked off the program in April during the coronavirus pandemic. We had to switch to online. So we started the program online. We are keeping on delivering the modules remotely online while the restrictions are still in place. And of course, since we are a state university, we have close ties to the ministries and we follow their recommendations. As soon as the situation changes, we are planning to bring the students back on campus. For now, the program runs online. We are very confident that next year's program start in April is going to be on campus again. So that maybe also replying to Diana's question regarding the current situation. So for now, only there's just the executive MBA which has started as an online in online delivery. The running programs also, obviously students cannot come to campus, so they have online modules, and we switch back to campus teaching as soon as the situation changes. Next question. I saw that for the PMBA in digital transformation data science, students can either choose 4-day or 8-day. Actually, all the professional MBA program students from each, at least English specialization, can choose whether they will have 4 days per month roughly, or fewer modules but longer, which are 8 days during the first part of the program. So during the business core, which all the students, professional MBA students, go through together, there are 2 schedules where students can choose. The difference is basically it is just the schedule, the content, and the modules students go through are the same. Why do we have this differentiation? Mainly, the 8-day track is mainly targeting students which have to travel a lot to commute to the module. So if you have a long travel journey in order to come to our modules here in Vienna, then the 8-day track might be a good idea. Also, it might be, let's say, something your employer is requiring. So if your boss doesn't want to release you each month, but rather blocked, but then longer, and fewer times, then this could be a good idea. So you're free to choose which track is more suitable for you. Next question: could you please give some hints on what to expect at the admission interview and how to prepare? So as I said, the admission interview is composed of 2 parts. The first part is a case study work. This is where you have some time for preparation. We give you a case study, a couple of pages long, along with some questions, and we ask you to prepare a short presentation about the case studies and the questions, and then we engage you in a discussion about your presentation. So that's the first part. And then there is a questionnaire we have. We go through. The questions can be about your motivation, your ability to commit in terms of time to the program. There are some questions about your leadership experience and your leadership perspective. Also about your goals with the MBA. So it's basically a discussion, and we want to find out more about you as a candidate. So that's the duration usually is about 1.5 hours. So that's something you can expect to have. MLS in English. For now, we're not planning to have a Master of Legal Studies in English, but our LLM program, the new one in digitalization and tax law, is in English. So if you want to check this out, that's an English program. Any more questions? We still have some time for questions. While I wait for questions, just want to give you, make you an offer for a consultation meeting or a profile check. So if you want to find out whether you would be a fit for one particular program, or you're not sure which program to choose, get in touch with me. I'd be happy to arrange a phone call, and we can engage in a more extensive discussion about that. So that's something which has proven to be quite useful before applying to a particular program, to get to know us, get some questions answered. There is usually a list of questions our candidates bring when they show interest in the program. I think I just heard Anna.
Yes, exactly. So I also wanted to mention another helpful thing that might help you in your MBA decision is to join a class to test drive the MBA. And next week, we actually have the option of doing this. If you're interested in coming a week from today in the evening at 7 p.m., excuse me, 6 p.m. Central European time, we're going to be starting a short info session on the return on investment of an MBA, where we've invited an alumna as well as a current student of the professional MBA to talk about their experience. And after that, at around 7:15 p.m. in the evening, we are inviting Professor Eliud Ran to talk about an introductory course on energy trading and basically how the coronavirus has affected the commodity markets worldwide. He will be focusing on the energy market, but it will cover other commodities as well.
Mhm. That's highly recommended, definitely. So you get to kind of test drive your MBA experience. So in normal times, we would invite you to join a class here on campus for a couple of hours. Since we can't do that right now, you're very much invited to join an online lecture. There was another question about the tuition fees and whether they're gonna be higher next year. That's something, unfortunately, I can't tell you right now. That's a decision which is taken by our business units and our managing director. Um, for now, or in general, the tuition fees can and are being adapted on a regular basis. Whether it's going to be this year or next year, unfortunately, can't tell you right now. But check out the website. There you have, of course, you have the current tuition fees, um, and yeah.
And we'll
Could
also be posting them online as soon as the information is available. So, yeah.
Sure, yeah. So if anything changes, it's going to be online pretty quick. Another question, could you please give info on your career services, any insights on job market for non-EUs? Career services. Well, of course, an MBA typically comes with some career services. First of all, and that's, I think, a very important feature is that you don't need to wait until graduation to have access to our services. So every student is member of our alumni and student community as of day one of their program. So once you have started the program, you can access all the services. So that's, I think, a nice thing to have already. Second, there is a range of services we provide you. These are events with career partners. There is an online. We have our own platform for our community where there's a lot of networking going on. We have executive search companies which have access to this platform, so they can recruit out of our network. Same goes for HR divisions of selected companies, which also have access, direct and exclusive access to our network. Um, there are job postings, there are exclusive job postings on a regular basis. Then, of course, so this is from the job perspective, right? There's the range of services which we offer in to help your, let's say, personal development, to help find out where you want to go, what you know, what you don't know, where you want to improve your skills. So on a more soft level, there are events and webinars and other services on a regular basis.
Yeah, just
Anna,
last week we had actually a career cafe that went online, and it was a 3-day event. So in the afternoons of 3 days, and we had basically around 30 career experts available at different time slots, and our community members, so our students and alumni, can book these event slots with the career experts, and that's how they were able to access career services if you're outside the EU or if you're outside um, Austria. But I'm also going to post some information because graduates of our programs can also apply for what's called a red, white, red card. And you can check out the link for details. It goes to, of course, the government page, but that's something that would help you if you're coming from outside the Schengen area.
Mhm. Definitely. So there are some criteria you need to fulfill and to get this red card. And one of those criteria is a degree from our university. So definitely check that out.
Great question, yeah. Otherwise, we
Mhm.
have a lot of webinars on beefing up your LinkedIn profile with our so-called career angels. And we have other ones that are LinkedIn advanced webinars for people who are more used to working with LinkedIn and want to get more information at a sort of intermediate advanced level. So the great questions, exactly. Hmm.
And of course, the network is essential for your career development, right? So you have your immediate network, which is your class, which are your classmates. Okay, so this is the closest network you have during the MBA program. But also, we want to make sure that you get the chance to get to know other alumni and students from other classes and from other programs. So what we do is that there is a range of events as you go along your MBA journey, and we make sure to connect our alumni and students from other programs at these events. So, for instance, there you can expect to have guest lectures from distinguished guest speakers from the industry while during a module here in Vienna, and we make sure then to invite students from other MBA programs or previous MBA classes to these events because of course we want to make sure that people get to know each other during the MBA program already.
Exactly. And also, we have a very strong network of female leaders, and their focus right now for this month is actually financial stability for females. So they're we're working in cooperation with a professional network here in Vienna, who they're hosting as well a webinar exactly on this topic. So this is also the kind of benefits you can expect from the network if you're a woman, of course, and if you're a gentleman, well, we have the other events open for you as well. So it's a pretty cool network to be a part of. It's also kind of like the mafia. We don't let you go.
Once you enter the family, there's no coming out.
Exactly.
Uh, and of course, Igor, the session will be recorded. We are recording right now, and we'll be happy to share the recording with you afterwards, of course. Keep the questions coming. So we still have some time. We'd be happy to give you all the insights we can give you. But of course, feel free to drop me an email anytime.
I have a question while we're getting our questions. And how long does a profile check take when you're usually doing one?
Beg your pardon? Come again?
How long does it take to do a profile check with you if I were interested?
So what the easiest way is that you write me an email and you send me your resume. And the first thing I'm going to do is I have a quick look at your CV. I most probably will check out your LinkedIn profile, and I'll get back to you shortly then to arrange a date for a meeting, for a web meeting, and then we take it from there. So we talk about your CV. We talk about the fit for a program. You can ask some questions. So it's not only that I give you a feedback on whether you're suitable for an MBA or not, but it's more than that. So it's basically more advice, consultation, and my role is one of my roles is to be a sparring partner for prospect students. So whenever there is something they need to do, some issue they need to discuss, some question, some pain points, something which is bothering them, that's basically where I jump in.
Okay. We have
Are
another
we talking
question
about
from
that? Yeah, there was another
Serumi.
question. When applying for the scholarship, I believe there should be a separate application. It's the same application. So how it works is that once you go to our application website and you click on start the application, it's the same form. So if you want to apply for a scholarship, there is one box where you can choose the scholarship you want to apply for. And then you go along the questionnaire as I showed you before. And in addition to that, then when it comes to sending your application package with the documents, then we ask you that you answer the questions regarding the scholarship which are on the motivation letter and to provide the information I showed you before. So it's the same application. Level of German, if applying for a program in German, same here. The level should be so high so that you are able to follow lectures, to engage in discussions, to present, and so on and so forth. How do we find out whether that's the case? During the admission interview, or of course during a consultation meeting ahead of your application.
Now, if you were to translate that into one of the levels of language proficiency, would that be like a B2?
B2 or even C, and going towards C.
C1. Okay.
Remember, so you have a demanding curriculum. You will sit in class with, I would say, in average between 25 and 35 to 40 students, all engaging in discussions. You need to be comfortable with the language, be it German or English, and that's also one of the reasons we have this case study during the admission interview, because we want to make sure, we want to find out how you build your argument, not only how you build your argument and your argumentation, but also whether you are able to present your findings in the language of the program, remembering that you have only a limited amount of time. So it's kind of a pressure situation where you're at least under slight pressure. And this is also one of the reasons why we do that. Next question was, which part of the applications are denied after interview? So the denial of applications can have several reasons. One could be formal reasons, whether some criteria are not met. For instance, you don't have a bachelor's degree, something similar, or that we find out that right now would not be the right moment in your career to do this program, maybe to postpone it for a later stage. Language issues can also be a reason for denial. So there are different reasons why candidates can be denied acceptance to the program.
And how is the current class looking with the look towards fall? Do you have an exciting group of students that you're planning to welcome?
Interestingly enough, the prospects we are in touch with are highly international. So I think the switch to online has maybe broadened the targets we have. So people write us from different parts of the world. Talking about nationalities in the cohort, just to give you a picture in average, and you can look up the student profiles for each program on the website. But the proportion of international students goes up to 75% of the class.
So in terms of numbers, that's around like 20 countries in the professional MBA class.
That can be even more than 20 countries.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a pretty nicely mixed group. Again, adding to the international flavor, adding to your learning experience when it comes to students bringing their experience from their home countries, different cultures into the discussions. So that's really something with a great feature in the program.
Well, we still have a few more minutes for questions, and I'd like to invite you to ask that final question you might have in the back of your brain while Alexander is here ready to answer that. And in the meantime, Alex, what might be the first deadline that people should keep in mind if they're considering applying?
Application deadline. And if there is a sooner one, you can correct me right away. For some scholarships, we have sooner deadlines, I believe. So let me go back here. Okay, I can't access the slides.
I can help you out. We do have a scholarship deadline coming up because we have the Zero Financiar scholarships, and that's at the end of May. So that would be
And
our
that's
first one.
exactly, and that's a scholarship which is for the Executive MBA Bucharest. Huge scholarship for that MBA. So for our Romanian folks.
Exactly. And we also have what are called 35% scholarships for the Vedomosti scholarship candidates. And this is available for students who are living in CIS countries. So you have to be a citizen and a resident of a CIS country, as well as a country including Ukraine, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Georgia. And I can send the link for these informations as well, but the deadline is June 15th.
And there is a website in Russian which maybe you could share. In the meantime, in terms of MBA project management, there we have a group which is around 20 students, plus minus a couple of students, depending on the year. In terms of applications, in a nutshell, I would say 50% more, roughly. The reason why maybe that might be not the highest number is that we typically do a lot of consulting prior to application. So if you get in touch with us, you want to to learn more about the program, we discuss several issues with you during a consultation meeting, and if there we already see that the fit would not be there, then we would not encourage you to apply for the program. Thanks for the links, Anna.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, great. I think this basically wraps up our webinar today on application tips and tricks for the MBA and Master of Law programs. And I'd like to thank our IT support in the background, Lawrence, for making this such a smooth event. And thank you, Alex, as well, for your great inputs. And most importantly, thank you to our listeners for your active participation. It always makes it a lot of fun for us when there's a lot of questions.
Definitely. So we'll be sharing slides and the recording with you pretty soon. And again, if you have any questions, let us know anytime. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.